Hey, welcome back. Jeff Heggie, Daily Success Strategies. Thanks for being with me today. Hope things are going well. Today what I want to do, I want to talk about this book a little bit. You know it's a verb, right? Now, if you're in a leadership position or you're going to be in a leadership position, it's a great book. And the authors, Jennifer Milius and Dr. Wayne Applewhite, they're going to be on my other podcast, the Jeff and Heidi Show, within the next month or so. So watch for that, because knowing what I've learned reading this book, I know it's going to be a great interview when I have them on that show. But I want to just read something out of one of their last chapters that I want to talk about today. They said, "Remember, to be the best at what you do takes work. In addition, hard work and believing in yourself somewhere down the road does pay off. Whether we know it or not, someone is most often watching from afar." And that's what I want to talk about. There's a lot of times that it would be easier not to do something, but the right thing is still to do it. Even taking this podcast, for example. So this podcast, I put it on YouTube. It's on all the podcast platforms. I put it on Instagram, all these different things. When it started out, I've talked about this before, I didn't start this with the intention of it being a podcast. It was a message I was sending to one of my clients on a daily basis. When I turned it into a podcast, I didn't know what it was going to turn into. And there's been times that it's been late at night. I'm tired, I'm exhausted from the day, and I want to go to bed. I know I've got my alarm set for 4:30 in the morning, and I'm just dead. But I haven't recorded the podcast for the next day. There'd be a lot of times that it'd just be easier not to do it. But I've made a commitment to myself, this is something I'm going to do. And the other fact is, I don't know who it might impact. And the most rewarding thing is, I don't know how far my reach is with this podcast, but there's nothing more rewarding than when I'm talking to someone, whether it's through a phone conversation, a Zoom, or just through DMs or emails, and it's someone that I don't even know whether or not they realize I have a podcast, and they tell me something they learned, something that helped them because of one of my episodes. That's extremely rewarding. And so that's one of the things I want to encourage you to do. As you're working on the things, sometimes things we know as we're working on our success habits, we know as we're doing the things that we want to do that are taking us step by step by step to get us closer to our goals, that sometimes they're monotonous, sometimes they're hard, sometimes we don't feel like doing it. But when we know that it's the right thing, when we know these are the things that are going to help get us closer to our bigger goals, even if it's just small steps at a time, keep going, because it's having an impact. And like they said in that book, someone is usually watching from afar. And, depending on what you're doing, that someone might be one of your kids. It might be an employee. It might be someone that just needs that extra push to do something. And by watching you and being motivated and seeing your dedication might be a huge influence to them. So just want to give you some encouragement today to push through with those things. Do the hard things. It's not always going to be easy. There's going to be days that you don't want to do it. You want to go to bed. You've got an early morning. You don't want to record another podcast. You don't know what you're going to talk about. But figure it out, push through it, do what you're committed to do, and get yourself closer to your bigger goals. Because in the long run, you're going to get paid off in other ways. In the book, in the example, that specific example was someone that was trying to get on a certain surgical team, and they had been told they couldn't go into a certain surgery because they were new to the team. But because of the things that they had been doing, because of the actions they had been doing consistently over and over again, when the surgeon got into the room, he wouldn't start until that person was brought back into the room. So it will pay off. Your hard work does pay off in the long run. So focus on what you need to do, figure out what your goals are, and do the things, the success habits on a daily basis consistently that are going to help get you closer and closer and closer. Again, if you're new to this and you haven't heard me talk about it a lot, if you don't have your written out goals that you've got clarity on, go to jeffheggie.com, get my free momentum series. It'll help walk you through how to set your goals, how to determine them, how to create a clear path, and understand your why behind each one. So again, go to jeffheggie.com, get my free momentum series, and hopefully that'll be a huge boost to help you get on the right path. Thanks again for being with me. Please go out and share this with 3 other people. Really appreciate that if you do that. It helps spread this more for me. But thanks again, and see you tomorrow. And hopefully my dog can get the ball out of the pool.